Eight. You said eight.
Thank you very much. You win. Perfect. Thank you very much. But thank you for number one as well. We're going to give props to everyone who just did. Thank you so much.
I'll say it for all of us. Thank you, Cynthia, because it's your gift to us. So thank you. Unfortunately, Ariana could not be here tonight, which is a real big bummer. That's why there's only 2 chairs. And
she's not feeling very well, and I spoke to her and she's gutted to not be here. So I'm sending her love, your love to her.
Okay, I'm running this show. You guys are in for a treat because I can't see anymore. Okay, Cynthia, my first question for you is a picture. Okay, and I'm wondering if someone up there can throw up the picture. We might need to wait a second because the credits are rolling. Oh God, this is adding so much suspense. This is how you build scenes. You say something and then you make them wait for a bit.
I don't know if we. Do you know what?
It's probably not going to come up. So I'll start with my second question.
Yes.
It's a gift.
Okay.
Okay. So I hope that you'll accept that this is not really going to be like an actor on actor. It's more going to be like a fangirl to idol, and I hope you'll accept that part of me. Because I'm here to bring some authenticity. So we're going to wait for the picture, but and I sort of already ruined this for you, but I think you already know what it is. But in my household, we live for a theme. And originally I had gone with Candy Christmas, which is super cute, lots of peppermint stuff. And then I saw Wicked and I said, well, we gotta rip it all down. And we gotta box it back up because we gotta do a Wicked Christmas this year. So my girls and I made these tree toppers, which by the way, to the, I don't know, items department, you missed the boat on Christmas decorations because I could not find them anywhere. And we made tree toppers. They're just the tree toppers from Target, and you cover them in ribbon. If you got a hot glue gun, they can be yours.
I'm so happy I kind of this is amazing.
And there's ones for Ariana as well, but she obviously cannot be here.
She won't get them.
You can keep all 4? Okay, I like this.
I need spares.
That's true.
That's what's going to happen.
Okay.
I'm keeping them.
All right. Well, we'll wait. The picture will come up at some point, and you guys just let us know when it does because I thought it would add to the scene.
Almost there. I will give you a fun fact about the credits. Ari and I worked on the soundtrack as vocal producers, so as well as being like in the credits, one of the proudest things I'm like proud of is the fact that we're in the credits as vocal producers on the soundtrack.
That's very cool. You wear a lot of hats, pun intended. Okay. I was thinking about this because this is such a role. This is such a It's my Christmas tree, guys! It's my Christmas tree. So if you want to recreate this at home, you just do some pink and green ribbon, you make your tree toppers, you grab some feet, you get a yellow brick road, you can see the rest. And then cautious flying monkeys ahead, that's, come on. Anyways, I thought it would add nice ambiance. Let's keep it up.
That is a good ambiance. I accept and thank you. Yes.
Okay, a role like this, a property like this, where, I guess I want to know where you started. Like did you begin by researching anything? Did you just read the script? Did you start with the lyric? Did you start with dialogue or melody or movement or backstory, or where do you begin?
I started with music, because I knew the music like the back of my hand before I was even asked to come in to read for it. So that was sort of in the back of my mind already, and re-listening to it and sort of trying to hear it from my point of view and where I would take her and how I wanted to sort of vacillate the the story through the music for her. And I already knew that I didn't want to get to Defying Gravity at the beginning. So I had to figure out how to get from the very beginning of The Wizard and I, which is very, very quiet and sort of internal, and use the rest of that music to get to the last final war cry at the end of Defying Gravity. That's where I begin. And then you strip away that because you have to get to the meat of it first. I get the script, I read it, but I also started just like looking at the past. So looking at The Wizard of Oz, looking at Margaret Hamilton, because I wanted to figure out what Alphabet would look like as well. And I wanted to figure out, well, how do I marry some of the things that have already existed with what I feel should belong to now, and how do I marry the things about myself to have that Margaret Hamilton already presented. And so when I remember I actually came to the museum and there was a display about The Wizard of Oz here soon after I had gotten the role. So I was like, well, that's happening, we're going immediately. And I went to this display, and there's a picture of Margaret Hamilton in black and white, which is quite infamous. I think most people have seen it. And she's in her full costume, and she's sort of doing that. And that's the first time I realized that she actually has talent. She has nails. So I was like, interesting. I hadn't realized, I hadn't noticed them before, which is strange for me to not have noticed. And now all of a sudden there was like, oh, this small thing has become this connection between the past and the future. And so I was like, well, that needs to go in it, and I want to find out why does she have them? Is it part of her DNA? Like, how does her hair and her nails grow? Is it something that is this green really run through her in that way? So I was like, right, that's what's going to happen. I want her to have nails, but I want it to come from the DNA of her. And then I thought, well, what do I want of myself that makes sense? Because I don't want to completely erase the girl underneath the green me. So that's where the braids came from. So you have the micro braids that she has. I wanted to continue what's on stage, which is the long sort of wavy dark hair. So that's why the color is very dark, but it still has the texture that I wanted. I'm trying to take from these different parts of all of the things that already exist to create her. And then, yes, she's green, but the green that I'm actually wearing is literally called Cynthia's green, because the green that already exists was the wrong tone. So it was coming up almost chalky. So Frances, our head of makeup, worked with the technicians to create a green that had a luminous yellow in it, so that the green on my skin tone worked for me. So there's loads of different things that we just sort of picking up on. That's what it says. And then you find her shoes, and you find out how she walks, and you find out what her rhythm is, and then you find out how she speaks, and that she's kind of, her voice is set a little deeper than mine because she's a lot drier. You know, she can't be bothered. I was just trying to open the door. And you find out, because I think I have a little more air in me than she does. She's very grounded, so I wanted to send her speaking voice a little bit lower into her boots. But then when she sings, she can fly. You know, so like...
I got lost. I forgot I was moderating. I got lost a minute, guys. Oh my gosh, you're just effervescent. Okay, what songs did you sing for your audition? Just one?
No, 3 of them. The Wizard and I, Defying Gravity, and we did For Good. And I did like a 3-hour sort of camera test with 2 different actresses, and we sang all of that, yeah. I keep thinking that I did No Good Deed, but I don't think I did. I think that's just because that particular song had an impact on me. It's coming in two. It's coming in the second movie. It's not right now. But you know, that's probably why it's in my brain. Yeah.
Right. It'll come in 520 you know, okay?
You should know.
Theater kids.
Okay, bringing an icon to life, it's not a small feat, and clearly you gave the fans what they were hoping for. While honoring and delivering on the expectations, is there any other thing you can share with us? But you did kind of cover it in this, which is the link and the connection of the nails. Was there anything else that you held on to that's uniquely the girl underneath the green that you wanted to maintain as you as Elphaba?
And what I had gotten from everyone else that I wanted to keep.
What were your specifics that
My
you were like,
specifics.
this didn't come from anyone else, here's what I'm gonna add?
Well, the war cry was definitely mine. That didn't come from anyone else. That was a me thing. But I think just in general how I wanted to approach the songs, and I felt like Elphaba was owed some humanity. I think sometimes we assume that she's the angry girl who, you know, has no joy. And the thing I really wanted to give her was some joy and some hope. Because I think that when someone has hope and joy, it becomes more heartbreaking when those dreams are dashed. When you have to refocus and rethink what your dreams and your hopes were. So I knew immediately that I didn't want to approach it as though she was angry at the world. I wanted to approach it as though she accepted the world for what it was. She's lived in that skin her whole entire life. If you start in a place where you're angry at the world, there's nowhere else to go. If she believes that there's still goodness, then she can fight for animals, and she can fight for what's good, and she can fight for what's right because she believes it exists, you know? Which means she believes it exists for her. So when she walks into the Ozdust, hopefully people will accept her because she's been given this gift. So that if she's not angry at the world, when she receives that hat, she does believe it's a gift. She does believe it's a good thing. And she does believe there's some acceptance. Yeah.
I'm like seeing you do it in my head.
Yeah.
And it does, it's so, you see the little girl.
Yeah. She comes in and she's like excited.
I did it, I was invited to a
Yeah.
party.
Ooh. They saw me, they get me, I can come, I can join.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, do you having worked in both stage and film, how do the two mediums compare?
Yeah.
In terms of your performance? And is there a particular way you tailor your process depending on if it's live audience or camera?
I'm a little bit cheeky when it comes to stage and camera. Stage particularly. I didn't realize it was like a cardinal sin to turn your back on the audience in theatre. But I will turn my back because I believe.
We want more.
Well, it's also because I believe that the back is also as emotive as the front of you. So if I'm turning my back to you, and then I smile, and then I feel tense, just as emotive as if I'm looking at you. You know what I'm saying? So when I was on stage, I never felt like there was this boundary that I couldn't cross. I just thought, whatever is going to tell the story truthfully is what I'm going to do. So if I had to be this close to a person and I had to touch your nose, then I would. But I can be that close to a person on film and touch your nose and you'd still catch it. The difference between film and stage is that you can be this close and see my eyes, whereas if you're at the back and I'm on stage, you can't see this close. And so I guess you have to, when you're on stage, you have to send that further out, and that doesn't mean make it huge. That just means the intention has to be up and out. Whereas when you're on film, I have to find a way to like keep it, let the internal life be loud enough to be read on camera.
That's a great way to look at it too, because sometimes I feel like I've also done both. It's not
Yes, it's not. That's true.
but like it's not about making it bigger.
Yeah,
it's not about
that's
making it bigger. It's about making the authenticity a little bit different.
Correct.
When you're on stage,
Yeah.
because the back seats are just as important.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
I'm all scattywampus here.
Thank you.
Yes.
A little nod. You know.
Wow.
Fabulous.
Wait, will you also mention what you said to me the other day about when we were talking about when you had done Petra in Little Night Music, which is one of the it's a very, very, very hard song. It's like if you were to take the Micro Machines commercial and put it into song and make it 3.5 minutes long, that's what it is. It's such a hard song. And I said, what's your game plan if you go up? And you said,
I did. So basically, we did this production of A Little Night Music, and I was playing Petra, and you need rhythm. The thing about that song is if the rhythm is too slow, your brain turns on. That cannot happen. It needs to be an automatic pilot, so you're not necessarily thinking about the lyrics. The lyrics can flow. If it slows down, everything comes to a screeching halt. And I could feel it coming to a screeching halt. My brain was turning on, the lyrics were leaving me. So I just said, John, we have to start again. And I felt everyone in the audience take a breath. The reason you do that is because it tells everyone, I have control. I understand what's going on. You can feel it too. So can I. I'm going to stop this. You deserve better. Can we start again, please? We'll go from the top. Live theater, everyone.
that was like, when you said that to me, I was like, that's the sexiest thing about it. Plain and simple. There's no way to get around it. Okay. You have played characters with historical and cultural significance both, and that can feel like a big responsibility. Do you like that more than creating something from the ground up on your own? And does it feel any different to take on a role like Elphaba, who comes with a story everyone has about her and is a sort of emotional weight?
I think both types of roles are equally important. They just carry different weights to them. I think the roles that are historically significant and people know them and they lived and they existed, the responsibility is to take care of the story that they left behind, and to try and tell their story as truthfully as you possibly can. And so I then, when I played those roles, when I played Harriet or Aretha, and Celie even though she's a fictional character, but she's a fictional character based on something true, I have to find out as much as I can about those people, so that I don't put words into their mouth that didn't happen. You know, if it's one thing to say to do a scene that is still very much still around what happened, but it's another thing to make something up completely. I can't allow that. So I end up being sort of the quality check for those characters, and I try to bring them to life and make sure that people don't see them just as emblems, but as human beating hearts.
Yeah, dimensional.
That's right. Yeah. And then for a character like Elphaba, again, the responsibility is different because so many people love this character. So you want to make sure that, yes, you're trying to make it your own, but you're also trying to allow people to understand that you care too. That it isn't just I want to play this character. For me, you're playing the character for the millions of people who understand and know this person and also feel like they know the person inside out. And so instead of going, look at my version, you go, can you see some new things about her?
This is ours.
This is ours, and I'd like to introduce you to some other aspects that you might not have seen of her, and some other qualities that I think she has that you might not have seen of her, and maybe you can add to what you already know.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of what it is. And new characters, and I love creating new characters because they basically are introduced to the world once, and now you can own them and see them, and the next time they come up, maybe somewhere else, you'll go, oh, I knew something about them, and now there might be something else I'm learning. I think they're different responsibilities. When they're new, you really need to, you have to create them, every little inch of them, from the ground up. When I had to play Holly from The Outsider, she was new for me. Like that was a creation from the ground up, and I wanted to know every little quirk about her, how her heart beats, what she listens to, how she listens, if she listens to music, why she doesn't like music, how she counts, all of those things, why she wears her hair the way she wears it, who she loves, which family member. I know that about all of these characters already, and I try to make sure that what you don't see, I know, so that when you see the character, it's already in the fabric of their being, and that goes for all of them. I love this stuff. I'm so sorry. I really do. I love it.
Snacks, obviously. You talk so elegantly about it. Or at least I am. I'm like, I can't even read these notes anymore. I just want to look at you. Okay. Okay, this one might stump you.
Go on.
In the world of a wicked crossover with Harry Potter,
Hit me.
which house would Elphaba be? And why?
I actually think she might be Slytherin.
Not Ravenclaw?
No, not Ravenclaw. She's because of what she can do. You see what I'm saying? Except she'd be the Slytherin that gets on everybody's nerves. Because she's not really willing to do terrible things. She's just very good at her work.
Yeah.
You know? Like she's a mastery over magic that most others don't. And can be deeply misunderstood. I think Gryffindor's too goody two shoes for her. She is more
Man,
rebel
I got two
in her,
Gryffindors in the house, and I'm like,
do you know what I mean?
that's enough.
It's not. I think she's the spirit of Slytherin in her, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got one Slytherin daughter, and when I saw it when she took the test, I was like, oh, okay.
They've got a little danger in them.
Have you ever taken the test?
I have, and I end up being a Gryffindor.
Really?
Yeah. I think that's right for me.
Okay. I'm Hufflepuff.
That's shock. I always thought I'm either going to be a Slytherin or Gryffindor, and Gryffindor is the one that keeps coming up. So I'll go with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a question, actually, speaking of my 9-year-old, from my 9-year-old.
Please.
Okay. She would like to know,
Yes.
what inspired you to be a singer? And what's your favorite color? And animal and food?
All really good questions.
I can remind you of those tags if you need. So
Yes.
what inspired you
To be a singer. What inspired me to be a singer was when I was 5 years old. I did, and I've told the story a million times, but I was doing a nativity play. They asked me to play a shepherd, and for some reason, they asked me to also sing Silent Night by myself. So 5-year-old Cynthia sings Silent Night very happily, mind you. I don't remember being, and I'm only 5'1" now. I didn't do very much growing. I don't remember being nervous. I remember really being excited about it. And when I finished singing, I remember the audience being really happy. They were all clapping, but they were really happy. And something about being able to make people smile and give people joy stuck with me. That's what made me want to be a singer. And it's still the thing that's true today, only it's become more complex in that it's not just joy. I want people to connect with their hurt, their pain, their loss, their joy, all of those things that you can get from a song. But I want it to be a two-way connection. So I can give you what I've experienced so that you can give me what you've experienced, and it becomes a cyclical connection in music. So that it started there, but it's become this. Yes. Favorite color is actually green.
She's so excited to hear that.
Which is really weird. But it's also interesting, and again, I'm a geek. I had synesthesia. So synesthesia is when you see color and in music. So a note can play or a song can play and I will see a color. So I didn't think I had a favorite color until I had a favorite color, because I experience color very differently. Food, potato chips.
Any particular flavor?
Ruffles, just good old plain.
Okay.
And it has to be a good batch. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's not good. The batch is not good. There's not enough salt to potato ratio. And then other times it's just right. You know what I mean? That's a favorite food. Or pho. I love and noodles and veg. Like, that's that. Favorite, did she ask me?
Animal, I believe. Yes, favorite color, animal, and food. Yeah.
I love animals, and I don't know if I have a favorite. But currently my favorite is my two little dogs. I do think dogs are quite special. They're very emotional creatures, which is why I love them.
They're nature's antidepressants.
Yeah.
And I'm sure some of you must have thought that was a dangerous question for me to ask and be up here on stage and be like, what's she gonna say? Is it gonna be sloth? But my favorite is dogs.
Yeah.
For that reason, they are nature's antidepressants.
Yeah.
They are just so wholeheartedly in this for the connection, and they don't judge
At all.
Yeah.
Well, my Caleb, my multi-poo, might judge me sometimes. He might be like, "Why are you home so late?" We had a date for us to watch TV, and you're here an hour later than you were supposed to be. Gigi doesn't care. She's just like, "Love me." You know, they're sweet. You know, I think dogs are really quite amazing.
Also, I will share an anecdote. When I went to see the second time we saw it with my 11-year-old, she's been experimenting with comedy and like when a sort of like call out can land, which call outs are very dangerous, particularly in the movie theater. But I'm like, you gotta feel it. The only way to know is if you feel it, and if it does not land, you cannot land that plane. Believe me, you're gonna want to leave the theater. She had the bet, and I highly recommend this for your 9th screening. During the scene where you were talking to
History?
no,
Dr. Dillerman.
yes, Dr. Dillerman outside in the shed. At like one moment where he was singing before his voice goes away, she screams, "Get it, Dr. D!" And the theater erupted. So take that in your back pocket. You go see it again. Yell out, "Get it, Dr. D!" I can guarantee you it will land.
That is brilliant.
I'm
I want to
proud.
tell Peter Dinklage about that so badly, because he needs to know that we love him.
Yeah,
He
also,
needs
Dinklage
to
is
know.
the best.
The best.
The best.
The best.
Yes. Oh God, I love talking to you. Okay. So this role was not simple or easy. It required a lot of effort, but I feel like in your career you've tackled roles that were pretty physically and emotionally demanding.
Yeah.
Is that something that you've gravitated towards, even if you acknowledge it now as being a subconscious thing?
Mm-hmm.
And following up, how do you maintain you as Cynthia, because we've had this conversation a couple times too, your mental and physical well-being when you're embodying these characters? Do you have any rituals that you abide by or techniques to take care of yourself?
I think I consciously run towards things that will use me physically as well as mentally, because I believe that the body and the mind are truly intrinsically linked. Like sometimes the body is the thing that tells the mind what to do, and sometimes the mind is the thing that will tell the body what to do. And because I feel like I'm a very physical person, I want both things to be in action. I want both things to be being used. Now, whether or not that's healthy, I'm working it out. I'm not sure, because I will put myself through a lot to do any of the roles. So for this, I put myself through a lot. It was like waking up because my calls were very early. The makeup was practical, so that was already 2.5 hours before we got on set. But I would get up and work out for 2 hours before getting in the car. Well, because I had to be in wires, because I was flying. So those stunts need your body to be conditioned so that when you move, and I was learning this as I was going along because I had never flown before. I just knew I wanted to. I'd flown a small amount, but nothing like this before, and that requires your core to be this strong as you could possibly be, because the wires will take you from one place to another. Joe McLaren, my stunt coordinator, was so good with me. She was like, "Are you sure you want to do all of this?" And I said yes. And so what I would need to do is be ready enough so that when the wires are working to move me from point A to point B to point C, if we're doing a loop-to-loop, which is that big loop, I have to get myself over and round without my legs just falling behind me, which means that my core has to be on from there, and then I have to turn something else on, my legs and my hips, to come follow through. So that doesn't work if you don't take care of your body. But I have to sing at the same time. So I have to take care of my voice at the same time. But I love it. I did the same thing for Harriet. I was on a bike every morning before we were on set. I need that, the feeling of it is sort of my fodder. That's what I kind of need, the feeling. I need to know that my body and my brain have worked so that when I get to the point where I'm doing it all, it feels like water, feels natural, you know? How do I take care of myself? There are practical things that I do. I learned that an infrared sauna blanket is very helpful with the bruising on the inside. I learned that a therapist is also really helpful with the bruising on the inside. I live a little bit like a monk when I'm doing these things. I naturally don't drink or smoke or eat meat or any of those things. I'm sorry, I'm very boring. But I sort of stay, I'm in my house. I stay indoors and I try to take those moments when I can actually like rest. I don't get very much sleep doing these things. So the 2 or 3 hours that I do get, I try to make them good quality too.
I'm sorry, did you say 2 or 3 hours of sleep?
That's what was getting on this, yeah.
Wow. Jesus.
Because my pickups go at 5 a.m. in the morning.
I'll have a conversation with John Chu after this.
but self-inflicted, because
sure.
You know, if you no, it's self-inflicted. It is what it, you know. I can admit that.
Can you wind down at night? Like, what is it
Oh
hard?
no, the wind down is horrible. It is so hard to wind down after that because, you know, I would try to wind down when we were taking off makeup, because the makeup itself would take an hour and a half to take off anyway. So that's at the end of the day. But I'm already like out. And no days were small. No days were small. There were no small days. None.
And you guys shot for 18 months?
It was 8 months.
8 months.
9 months.
Sorry.
But we were cast in 2022. Cast in 2021. We started shooting in December 2022. We were rehearsing from August to December 2022, December through to June or July. Then a strike hit, so there was 6 months of waiting. Then we went back at the top of this year in January and finished in February. The very last thing I shot was Defying Gravity. So this has been a really long, crazy, wild journey. And that 6 months was the craziest thing ever, because you're sort of walking a tightrope, because you can't drift so far away from the character that she disappears, and you can't stay on the line so much so that she doesn't go away at all for 6 months. So I was always sort of like checking in. Like I'd be in the shower. Just checking. Just checking. Okay, sorry. Okay. Just like doing this check-in constantly, like, are you there? Are you there? Are you there? You're not knocking. Are you there? Are you there? Until you get to the day where you can like come back and do all that. It's been the craziest Waddles journey. I cannot even tell you how insane and wild it has been. But I mean, you can't do that unless you have like wonderful support. And everyone from the wonderful women who did my makeup, Alice Jones and Sim Camps and Carmen Paulton, who is my dresser and my therapist at the same time on set. Do you know what I mean? Those moments are so necessary because you don't realize that they really take care of you. So you asked how I take care of myself. Well, I'm a stickler for pulling people in that I love when I do projects because I know they take care of me intrinsically. So Alice Jones was on a project that I had done before, Drift, and I remember I had a breakdown on that film. And she's the one that did my makeup. And I remember when we were on Drift and I had this breakdown, I've never seen anyone do this. She just silently took off all this makeup and then gave me like a face massage. But there was the touch and the energy of like, I've got you. You can cry as much as you like and I'll pause when you cry. And then we'll continue and we'll get you to the end of this. Carmen and Sim came from another film, Luther, and they were just so open and sweet and caring that I said, I'm not doing anything without them. So I bring people along with me because that is, you build a family, and there is nothing like having people around you who know you very well to make you feel really safe. So I think that's actually one of the ways I take care of myself, by bringing people who do an exquisite job, not just at their craft, but at being people.
That's actually something nobody really talks about, because the idea of you curate the scaffolding around you, right, when you work, so that you are sort of released to be able to do your best work, which is sometimes wild and uncomfortable and weird, but like, I mean, from a practical sense, it's like when someone requests like a makeup artist, it's like, I'm like, yeah, of course, because I would like to know the person who's going to be putting a Q-tip in my eye at 4:30 in the morning. That is like very intimate, you know, or be able to, because a lot of them do have a very nurturing nature, and to anticipate like, I'm gonna grab cough drops because it feels like she might be getting sick, or like there's such a nurturing quality around the team that takes care of the physical needs of the actor on set that is really unsung.
Carmen Paulton is my dresser. She's amazing. He said, do you want a cough drop or anything? She'll just say that really. She'll walk over to me and she has like this utility belt that has everything in it. What a bit of tea? Drink some tea. Which is usually, you need teas, have some now.
Yeah, oftentimes it's not a suggestion. It's that you've gone offline into the character so much that someone recognizes you haven't drank water in the last 9 hours. And so they just they open it and then hand you water. And it is a beautiful
it's like a
feeling.
reset. It's the most amazing. To know that you are protected and taken care of in that way is so unbelievably valuable. I cannot even.
Well, it couldn't exist without that scaffolding, and then like that's why like I wish there was an award show for the people that are taking care of us. Honestly. Because it's like we have all these award shows, but it's like, where are the people who make what we're doing even possible? Right. Because it's real. Because there you go. Because also, you could get someone new, and like, not to throw I'm not using names, throw anyone under the bus, but you get a weird personality and it's gonna ruin your juju. It is going to change your energy, because energy is, it's very strong, especially when you're like committed to a character like this. And if someone can't sort of read the room. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I took Carmen with me on this crazy tour. I took her with me. I was like, I'm gonna take Carmen with me as we're flying around the world. I want this lady around all the time. I need her. She's magnificent. So yeah.
I love that's how I feel about Anna.
Yeah.
Standing over
Hey
there.
Anna.
Hi, Anna. Is this my red light?
Yeah, but
Is
ask
that-
another
does that
question.
mean that
I'm
I
feeling good.
have 5 minutes or I'm in trouble?
It's 5 minutes, but if we can we keep chatting just a
Do you
little
want to
longer?
sleep over?
I don't mind.
But,
I don't mind.
is there-
If you need to leave, you can.
Yeah, if you want, you can.
I'm good. If you're good.
I'm maybe we can talk for like
They're like,
more minutes. I'm also gonna
Yeah.
do your scaffolding because I know where all the countries you've been to this week, and so I'm gonna also demand that you go home and get a little bit of rest.
Okay.
Is there anything anyone in the audience is curious about?
Right here.
Glinda?
So what time, like, in the morning did you wake up?
2 a.m.
oh,
God, hard pass. I don't like acting that much.
I don't like acting that.
2 a.m. Yeah.
What time did you go to bed?
Usually about 10 or 11.
Oh my God, that's wild.
Yeah.
That's intense. Do we have any?
Over here. Right here.
Yeah, I'd like to know the moment that you found out that you actually got the role. Like how, if you could share that moment with us.
Share the moment when you actually got the role.
I was in London. I think I was shooting Luther, and I got an email from my team because they have a flair for dramatics, telling me that there was like a book or some IP that I needed to jump online with the writer about because it was really good for me. And I have a little production company that, you know, we just signed a first look deal with Universal, so they were like, well, you know, we've got this IP might be really good for you, but it's now, we have to talk to them right now. And I was like, okay, sure. It's 1 a.m. in London for me. I'm in my pajamas. But because I'm A-type, I said, that is a great idea. Let's do this now. So I get my iPad, I put it up, and I try to, like, if I make sure that my top at least is looking presentable. And I have glasses on, so I like set myself together. Great. So they give me a Zoom link to click on, and I click the Zoom, and John Chu's name comes up. It's 1 a.m. in the morning. I don't put it together. I don't even notice that it says John Chu. I just see John Chu and I think, oh, maybe he knows something about the writer. Fantastic. So his face comes up and my team comes up. I'm still not putting it together. I'm like, I guess we're all in it then. Let's talk about the book. What's the book? And he goes, so I just want to, we're talking about the story, and this is John. There's this story about this young woman who, you know, used to feel slightly out of place when she would go to drama school, and sometimes she would, you know, go to a piano room and with a friend of hers, and she would sing this music, and it would bring her comfort. And then one day, this young woman comes in, and she blows us all away with her song about this green girl, and I go. And he goes, and Cynthia, I don't know what fucking planet you came from, but I can't wait for the world to see you do this. And I lost it. I lost it. I don't even think, there is a video of it somewhere, and I don't say anything. I think I just say thank you so much and continue to cry for the duration of it, because I just didn't. You don't expect a dream to come true like that. You know what I mean? There things that land that are that big don't happen very often, and then they do. And all you can say is thank you. That's what happened.
Also, is John Chu not the loveliest?
One of
human
the
being
most
on the
incredible
planet?
human beings I've ever had the privilege of working with. John Chu has the most wonderful imagination, and if you combine that imagination with the most deep, caring heart and the brainiest person in the room always, you get that. that's what happens, because he's always thinking ahead, but also deeply thinking in the moment. So he can have a storyboard written about an entire scene, and it's brilliant and it's detailed, and we'll do that, and then he goes, right, what do you want to do? How do we do this? What would you do in this moment? What does Alphaba do? What does Glinda do? How do we do this? And 9 times out of 10, there are things in that I don't remember doing, because he just creates a space where you can just be. Little eye rolls and things. And I'm like, how did you catch that? When was the camera even looking in that direction? I thought you were filming someone else. I didn't even know what was happening. But his eye for what everyone is doing is always open. So he sees people, and he sees what they can do for the characters. It's really special. He's wonderful.
And he's a great human being.
A
So those things
wonderful
can
human being.
coexist, and they should coexist.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
he is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Also, if you guys have not seen In the Heights, which he also directed, let's give that a resurgence. Okay, I'm gonna make you go to bed.
Okay.
Thank you so much for talking with
Thank
me.
you.
She was great. But you know what? You know what? Say hi to them.